Ready?
No, I want to get out of your bag. What are you gonna do?
Like you're like, oh.
I'm already doing
Hey guys, welcome to my YouTube channel. This is my first ever video, and I'm so happy that my first video is with my best friend, Alyssa.
Hi guys.
And if you know us personally,
You're blessed.
Yeah, you're welcome. But you would know that we work at
McDonald's.
That was our first job. We got it together. We had our interview together.
We did everything together,
We
basically.
went to orientation together and everything.
And we're gonna talk about that. But while we're talking about it, we're doing a
MUKBANG.
We're gonna eat after this.
We are. I'm gonna be. Alright guys, so we're gonna be talking about the process of how it was to go into McDonald's. And it wasn't even that hard. So if you're stressing about it, like,
You're gonna get the job.
I know it's McDonald's. It's not that deep. So the interview, they just basically ask you like, what hours can you work? Because like that's all they care about is what hours you can work. And then after that, you get the job, obviously. And then you go to orientation.
Orientation was early as hell. Like, I even have a picture.
Oh, yeah.
And I'm, like, depressed that I'm starting to fucking work. Like, I'm, like... And then, orientation was... It was, like, from 8 to 12.
Oh, yeah. And you get paid to be there.
Yeah. So, we weren't even that mad.
And I was like, whatever.
I'm like, okay. I'm like, I can be here long. And then, they, like, show you old videos, like, from McDonald's and just, like, telling you what they expect, I guess.
Yeah, like, you don't do anything else in the orientation except give them your ID, fill out paperwork, and then watch videos.
Yeah.
And you're done.
And then you get your uniform that day, too.
Oh, yeah.
And,
Make sure when you put your uniform, get a size larger. Oh, I guess because you're going to gain weight.
because I was scared.
Mm-hmm.
I'm like, I don't know what size to get. And the lady was like, a large. And I'm like, I don't wear large.
They're not gonna fit me too big.
She's like, no. She's like, if something's gonna fit you too tight. And then that was it. We just watched videos and we got our uniforms.
And then me and Alyssa didn't do anything that made the food.
Oh, hell no.
We'll just be in the front.
The closest we got to making the food was making the fries.
Mm-hmm, that's all we would do. That and the frappes. And that's it. That's all the food you make up there. And the ice creams.
I don't even remember, like, my first day. But I remember, like, my first, like, week, someone threw up in the restroom. And I was like, and they came and told me, and I'm like, okay.
Oh my god, I remember that.
Like, they told me, and I'm like, okay. And, like, I didn't know what the to do. So I went, like, to someone. I'm like, oh, hey, like, they threw up in the restroom. And they just, like, looked at me. And I'm like, okay, like, you know, back it up. And then some girl, like the girl I told, she comes back and she's like, oh, well, go and clean it. And I'm like, okay. And like, I remember like getting all this stuff and like going to the girl's restroom. And like, I saw it and I was like, ew. I was like, what the like, who the throws up at McDonald's? And like, I remember looking at it and I was sad. Like,
I remember another time.
Like, I was tearing up, like, no lie. Like, I was cleaning it because I didn't even know how to clean. Like, I mean, I know how to clean, but someone else's throw up. Like, so I just had the mop, like, going back and forth, and, like, the chunks were, like, coming out. And I'm like, ew, like, what do I do? It was gross.
I remember another time, another person threw up, and you just finished clocking out. And they walked up to you and they're like, someone threw up. And you're like, ugh. I was like, Alyssa, don't talk to the customer like that. And you're like, I clocked out. You need to tell one of them. Mm-hmm. And you pointed right at me and they looked at me and they're like, someone threw up. I'm like, I clocked out. I'm sorry, man. I don't know what to do. Like, you're gonna have to go clean it up. You saw it. You're gonna have to go clean it up. How do we know it wasn't you?
That's fucking gross. Ew. I hated cleaning up. People are so fucking dirty.
Mm-hmm.
And especially, like, in the playroom, kids will leave, like, fucking nuggets, like, everywhere. And there's, like, stomped on fries and just, like, random. And I'm like, because I'm dipping and ducking on my shit.
Using the cash register, it's not even hard.
It's pictures of the
Yeah,
food.
it's just all pictures. There's no, well, there's the words, but
I mean, it's not that hard. It's like pretty common sense.
yeah, most McDonald's pay you like a little higher than minimum wage.
I think they pay you $7.50.
Mm-hmm. Some even pay more.
Yeah, like by the busy ones, like I know the one, a McDonald's somewhere in Harlingen, 2 of them, they pay you more because they're always busy.
When you work there, they're gonna ask for your food licensing certificate. No one even asked for it.
Mm-hmm.
During the interview, they're like, you gotta get the card. Like, I went
They were
to
like
go.
stressing.
Mm-hmm. No one asked for it the day after.
And you even have to pay for that shit.
I know. I was like, what the uniform? I think they changed it, but it's all black.
I didn't even mind.
Mm-mm.
I mean, because I'm a big girl, and it didn't even look that bad on me.
And you always have to have the shoes, non-slip shoes, the socks, the belt, your name tag, your hair up. You need to be shaved, and you need your cap. And you can't wear makeup, and you can't have nails on. Mm-hmm. And that's what made her mad. She was like, wow, I don't think I'm gonna work here anymore.
I looked ugly.
Every day Alyssa was like,
I look like a boy.
I would complain every fucking day. I mean, the coworkers,
you'll make
they
friends
were
with some of
nice.
them, yeah.
But some of them are bitches.
Mm-hmm.
Like, I see them till this day, and I'm like, I'm glad you're still working at McDonald's, bitch. I mean, it was fun.
And you're gonna make friends with like a lot of older people that work there.
Mm-hmm.
They're really cute.
She would.
There's an old lady that would do the grill. I'd be like, oh, I can't even do that. I can't even make an ice cream cone.
That is hard. Like, I would never, like, we would have to go back there to, like, get sauce or, like, get something from the back. Like, it's f***ing hot. Like, you sweat back there.
Like that little alley just going to the back where all the grills are, you're gonna sweat.
Oh my god. I mean, the main thing that I hated were, like, the f***ing customers.
I know. That's like the one. They would always ruin your day no matter what. Like, you'd be having like a good time kicking with all your friends. And they come in like complaining. Like, you didn't even know them. You didn't even take their order. And they're already like mad.
People are so rude.
That's why whenever I go to a fast food restaurant, I'm like,
Hi.
and they're
I try
like,
to
I'm
be
sorry.
so nice,
I know, me
right?
too. And they're like, I'm busy. I'm like,
Okay, take your time. It's fine, whatever.
well, if you take too much time, I'm gonna be like,
Come on, little bit.
just be nice to fast food workers. They deal with a lot. A lot of you all. When you work there, you get 50% off your whole meal. So like,
You do.
but it has to be a meal. So if it's like $5, you pay like $2.50, and that's how you gain like 30 pounds. And I still can't lose it till this
Because I
day.
remember I was getting the discount, and then I quit, and then I went back to McDonald's, and I got what I always got whenever I was working there. And they told me the total, and I was like it didn't sound right, and I'm like,
What did you get? The
okay.
McDouble?
I got a McDouble with mac sauce, and it was like the little meal, and they charged me like
Like what? $6?
yeah, 5, almost 6. And I was like, and I would never pay that much. So I was freaking out. I mean, even to this day, I don't like going because I don't want to see any of those.
I know, I haven't been there. I haven't been there since I quit. I walked out on my last day. I was like,
I remember him texting me.
I was
and, like, he was like, also, like, I'm just gonna leave. And I had left before him. Like,
yeah, she left like 2 weeks before me, and I was like, fuck, like, it wasn't even fun anymore. I'm like, the whole reason I came over here was to be with Alyssa, and then she left. I was like, what the?
I feel like none of the managers ever got mad if we gave them like more sauce.
I know. I don't know why she
Because
was getting
whenever
on that.
I eat my nuggets, like I said, I'm dipping and dunking. Like I fucking drench my nugget in the sauce.
It's like one sauce per nugget.
So like I would always give like people extra sauce and like.
Like,
I mean,
no
they wouldn't tell me
problem.
anything.
And if they charge you for sauce, then
I would never charge for sauce. But like sometimes I do go to McDonald's. I'm like, oh, can I have an extra sauce or like 2? They'll be like, oh, we're gonna charge you for that. And I'm like,
You can keep it.
I know,
You know
my
what? Run me my refund right now.
I'm like, well, never mind.
Wendy's never gives you your sauce. That's why I don't like going there. Oh.
But we had a bunch of rude customers. Like we have so many stories with those customers. Like I remember this one time I got so mad. Like Brandon had to like
my god, I
move
remember.
me away. So that day I was doing cash register, and Brandon, I guess he was like, I think they were doing drive through.
Yeah, I was preparing the order.
And we were like busy, and then this man came in, and I'm like, oh hi, welcome to McDonald's.
And Alyssa's the only one in the front.
Yeah, and I'm like, oh hi, like welcome to McDonald's, like may I take your order? And he just started yelling at me. He was like, and he had like a burger in his hand, and he's like, you put onions in this burger, and my wife's allergic to onions and all this stuff. And I'm like, okay, well, I'm sorry. Excuse me. I'm like, oh, I'm sorry, sir. And he wouldn't like calm down or anything. Like he was just like yelling at me. And he's like, it's all your fault, all this stuff. And I'm like, sir, everyone was just looking at me like no one came in to help me or anything.
I know. I gave her like 2 minutes before I walked in.
And then I'm like, oh, sir, like, did I take your order? And he was like, no, I went through drive-thru. And I'm like, well, why are you getting mad at me? I didn't even take your order. And I said that out loud. And then, like, he was shocked that I said that. And he was like,
how dare you say that? Like, you work here at McDonald's and this is like a team. Y'all work together.
And all this stuff. And I'm like, I don't even like half the people that work here, so I don't even know why he's saying that.
Ooh, they gave
And
me 4
like,
wings.
he was just like yelling at me. And I was like, and he just kept yelling at me, and I kept repeating the same thing, like, sir, I'm sorry, like, we can get you a new burger. Like, I even told him that. And he just kept yelling and yelling.
And that's when I walked in, I was like, Alyssa, like,
and then I started getting mad.
Like, she didn't even want to move. She didn't want to move. I was like, Alyssa, let me do it. She's like,
no.
I
was getting mad. Like, I was so mad. And then Brandon tried moving me away. And, like, I was so mad to the point, like, my eyes were, like, getting watery.
Customers will make you cry. Literally.
And then finally, the head manager came and was like, Alyssa, like, go. Like, I got this. And I'm like, really? Like, so, like, late? Like, you come in? And, like, I remember going to the restroom.
Crying.
I wasn't crying, but my eyes were watery because I didn't even do anything. And he was yelling at me. And literally everyone in the McDonald's was looking at me. Like, all of the crew was looking at me. And then, like, some of the people, like, eating were looking at me, too.
And this man came in screaming. I'm like, it's a $1 burger. Like,
it was a $1 burger.
It wasn't even like a Big Mac. He's like, you put onions in. I'm like, it's a $1 burger. Calm down.
You're so mean. I would hate when people would come in with like big families.
Oh my God.
And the mom would just start ordering for everyone. She's like, okay, well, I'm gonna have 2 Happy Meals, and then I'm gonna have a number 1, and then I'm gonna have like a number 5, and blah blah. And I'm there like, and I'm like, okay, well, what kind of Happy Meal? And then they look at me so mad, like
why do you just say a Happy Meal? You know, there's like 15 different kinds of Happy Meals.
I know. And then finally they're like, okay, well, nuggets. And then they like continue their order. I'm like, and I'm like, oh,
what do you want to drink? And they're like, a milk. I'm like, and I'm like, you want apple slices or do you want yogurt? And they're like,
oh my God.
And then if we get it wrong, they come back to us and they're like, I didn't ask for this and all this stuff. And I'm like,
or those people that would always just like complain about everything, literally everything. Like, and there was this one time this girl came in, it was like breakfast time, came back with her biscuit, and she was like, this biscuit is hard. How come every time I come to this McDonald's, this biscuit is always hard? And I was just standing in the back like,
then why do you come to this McDonald's?
people are just so dramatic. And then with all that food that they would bring back, like, we would throw all of that food. And it was good food, like, they wouldn't even touch it, and we would just throw it. Like, there would be a big trash can there, and they would just throw it in. And this one time, Brandon got in trouble. Because someone brought back like a double quarter pounder or a quarter pounder.
Oh no. When you order food, as soon as you say, I want a double quarter pounder in the drive-thru. So they made it, and this person's like, I don't want the double quarter pounder anymore. And they're like, okay, so the double quarter pounder is still there, waiting to be served. And it was there for like, at least like an hour, 45 minutes to an hour. And it was super slow. I was like, man, I'm hungry. I don't got no money with me because I forgot to bring my wallet. I was like, I'm going to take this double quarter pounder. So I got it. I was like, it's pretty old, right? I was talking to the cook. He was like, yeah, kind of. I was like, it's old. Like, I'm going to have to go throw this away. So instead of throwing it away, I got it. And I took it to the back where the employees, like, chill out. And I just put it there. And for some reason, the manager that day was like, I'm going to clean the back room. She goes and she's like, what's this? I was like, oh no. And it was only me and like 4 other people working. Like no one else was going to take the blame from me.
Everyone stitched him out.
I know. Everyone literally said Brandon took it. Brandon put it in the back. Give Brandon a write-up.
And I was like, what? You got a write-up for that?
I was like, whatever. Fire me.
And then whenever I left McDonald's, I had it with McDonald's already. And I had only been working there for like 3 months. And I worked at the island during spring break. And I would be working from 6 p.m. to 6 a.m. I would have to deal like with drunk customers. And I never had the chance to like sit down. Like I was... Like
you're on your feet the whole time.
If I started at 6 at cash register, I would stay on till 6 in the morning. And that's because we still have to like clean. We close for an hour. And
then you open up for breakfast.
Yeah. But the only good thing about working at the island, your meal is free. Or whole meal. And then our head manager was a she was a bitch. She is so mean. Like everyone hated her. Like she would come into work.
Oh my god, look, Natalie.
Hey, Natalie. What are you doing?
Say something.
Hi.
Alright, that's all I'm gonna put in is you saying hi. The one that never has customers?
That's the good thing.
Yeah. That's why it's perfect for me. What you eating, bitch?
Wingstop. Dang, no one's texting me.
No.
The reason I quit was because they had me working at the island again, and I was still going to school. Yeah, we were still going to school. We weren't on break yet. And I worked at the island from 6 a.m. And my mom was pissed because I had school. And my mom was like, okay, well, you know what? Like, you're not going to work anymore. Like, at the island. Like, you can work there at the store, but not at the island. And I was like, okay. And then, like, you know, I tried to tell my boss that. And she was like, no. Like,
you signed a form in orientation that said you're going to work at the island.
And I'm like, I was like, well, I almost said her name. I was like, well, I still have school. Like, I have school to go to. And then remember, she was like, aren't you off? And I'm like, no. And it was for Semana Santa.
Oh, yeah.
And then I'm like, no, like, we're not off yet. And then she was like, yes, you are. Like, you're off for a week of school. And remember, she said that? And I was like, no. Like, I'm like, I wish. And then, like, so, you know, she thought I was lying. And I remember I didn't go in. And, like, I texted her, like, this message. I'm like, Linda, I can't go in today. Like, I'm sorry. My parents said no. I don't even have a license. I don't have a car to even be driving over there to the island.
She's like, I'll drop you off.
She did that before with me. So, like, she dropped me off before and stuff. Like, she was hardcore. And, so, like, you know, I finished, like, texting. Oh, no, I was saying... I made up like this big lie. My mom was like, just tell her that we're gonna be in Mex for Easter and like you're not gonna be here. And so like, you know, like I made up this lie. I'm like, oh, I'm sorry, like this weekend I'm gonna be in Easter with my family in Mexico and all this stuff. And she never texted me back. Not like even like okay Alyssa.
She always texts back.
I'll see you, you know, Monday or whatever. She never texted me back. And I remember I told you, and you're like, oh my God, blah, blah. And then the brand new schedule for the week goes up on Sunday.
Oh, yeah.
And I remember I worked on Monday. And I was mad because, like, you know, she didn't text me back or whatever. And I'm like, you know what? I'm like, I'm not even going to go to work today. And I think you worked. Did you work?
Mm-hmm. And I was like, let's just come.
And I'm like, no, like, and I was already put up with McDonald's. I'm like, no, like, I don't want to go back. Like, I don't want to work. And the reason I did it is because, like, Linda and my mom and my dad, like, they got, like, into an argument, kind of. Because, like, my parents went, like, telling her off. And,
They did?
yes, remember I told you that because they dropped me off because I had to go to the island on Thursday. And then my parents went and, like, they told her stuff. And they're like, well, my daughter, blah, blah. And then she was like, well, your daughter signed a contract or whatever saying that she can go to the island. And my mom's like, well, she's still going to school. And she was like, she can work the weekend or whatever, but she's still going to school. And then she was like, my daughter doesn't even have a license. My daughter doesn't have a car. So I don't know how you expect her to be going over there. And then my dad got in. He's like, I don't know why you're sending my, how old is I? 16? 17?
17.
He's like, why are you sending my 17-year-old daughter when you have all these older men and women here that can easily go? And the bitch didn't say shit. And she was like, and you know, my parents got into a big argument with her. And I think that's why she was mad at me too. But I mean, I didn't tell my mom, like, mom, go over there and tell her stuff. Like, I remember when my mom was like, no, I'm going to
Tell her stuff. And I'm like, Mom, no.
After that, Linda hated Alyssa.
So then, you know, I didn't show up to work on Monday. Like, I just didn't go. I didn't call in or anything. Like, I just didn't go. And then Tuesday, I worked. And I was scared to go in. And I went into work, and she was working. And Linda was like, Alyssa, she had, like, a real heavy accent. She was like, Alyssa, why didn't you come in yesterday? And I'm like, and I was being a bitch. I didn't look at the schedule. And she was like,
are you stupid?
no, she was like, well, why didn't you come in on Sunday to come look at the schedule and all this stuff? Because, you know, the brand new schedule goes up on Sunday. And I'm like, oh, well, I don't work on Sunday, so I wasn't going to come on my day off to work. And she just, like, looked at me like, And then, so, like, you know, I continued working, and I was doing drive-thru. And so I was doing drive-thru, and, like, I would be going back to, like, make all the orders. And she was, like, throwing me the burgers. Like, she was, like, throwing them. She was, like, throwing me everything. And I'm like, bitch? I'm like, what the? And, you know, like, she was just throwing me everything. And I was like, ugh. I'm like, whatever. And then after that, me and Brandon met at school again. I'm like, Brandon, I'm like, that's it. Like, I quit. I'm like, I can get a different job somewhere else. Like, I can get a job like that. And a week later, I did get a job at Mr. G's. And I remember Miss Lotus got mad. She's like, Alyssa, if you don't find a job, like, I'm going to kick you out. And
because we're in a class that you could leave for half the day to go to work. Well, but sometimes we didn't even have to go to work. Like, we had, like, 3 days. We would go to school from 8 to 12. 8 to 12. And then after that, we would leave.
And we would eat.
We gained a lot of weight. Like, that's the end of the story. Like, working at McDonald's is just like a gateway drug to
getting fat.
Getting fat. You're gonna get fat.
I mean, I wasn't thin, but I was pretty thick. Like, I was a good size.
If you work at McDonald's, you're gonna get fat. There. End of story.
Like, prepare to get fat.
And prepare to hate your fucking job. Like, I will never, ever go back to McDonald's. I even put that on my thing whenever, like, you quit.
Oh, yeah.
I made Brandon write it, and I'm like, put that I will never, ever work at another McDonald's. I ratted that manager out and everything.
And I was so sad because I walked out and I never went back, that I was never to write, like, the review. Because once you quit McDonald's, you turn in all your stuff to, like, the main headquarter place where you do your orientation. And you get to write, like, how's the managers, how's the atmosphere. And I never got to write that because I just walked out and I was like, I'm done.
Brandon's scared to go back. That's what it is.
But I don't want to go back ever.
I mean, I'll eat at McDonald's, but I will never work at McDonald's again.
Okay, guys, so that was our mukbang or mookie bang. You know, I hope you learned something from this. That you could take away that you will get fat if you work at McDonald's.
You'll hate your job.
And so yeah, I'm gonna be posting more videos soon. And make sure to add.
Oh, Brendan, hurry, my foot's falling asleep.
Okay, look forward. Make sure to add Alyssa on her Snapchat. Add me too. And
Brendan, my foot is falling asleep. Like, I don't feel it.
It falls off.
And make sure to subscribe for more videos. I'm gonna be putting out more soon. And to doink that bell. I'll put the bell up there. And yeah, subscribe, like, and leave a mean comment. Bye, guys.
Bye.